All right, the bleak job market is adding to the uncertainty and upheaval in the stock market. More than 14 million Americans are out of work, and that's just the ones the government is counting. Applicants who spent hours in line at an Atlanta job fair talked about their determination, but also they talked about the frustration that jobs are so hard to find.
You're on the web, you're sitting in front of a computer 4 or 5 hours trying to find out, the jobs that are available.
It's after like a month or so, you start to feel like, is there any hope? Is anybody even looking at your, profile online? And there's not many responses that you get back.
It's my job to get a job. I'm going to get one. I'm going to find one.
All right, positive attitude there. So with so many people looking for work, how can you stand out from the competition, especially when you're at a huge job fair like the one yesterday? Career and social media counselor Miriam Salpeter is here. So Miriam, what are some of the mistakes, if it's about mistakes that some of the job seekers make, that makes it hard for employers, I guess, to give them some good news?
I think the number one thing job seekers don't realize is that they're using the same exact resume to apply to all different kinds of jobs. It's really important to know that it's targeting your resume is what's going to get you noticed.
Okay, and so you got to know a little bit more about the company. You've got to know, something about the job so that you can specify in your resume.
Exactly. It's really important for job seekers to read those job descriptions carefully. They want to show that they're the exact match between the job description and what they have to offer, and that's what employers are looking for.
And so your resumes really need to be transferable now. It's not just an issue of emailing your resume or, mailing a hard copy, but you need to be involved in social media. To what extent and how do you craft your resume, your profile for social media?
Well, first is identifying what it is you have to offer. So it's a good idea to do some research and figure out what are the companies you're looking for? What are they looking for? You can look on their job descriptions, on their websites, look at LinkedIn profiles of other people who are doing similar jobs, and then try to make sure you're targeting your information in that way.
Well, yesterday I spoke with a young woman who was looking for a job, Johanna Hill. She was at the job fair that was sponsored by the Congressional Black Caucus here in Atlanta. As you saw in those pictures, thousands of people. And, she really talked about the frustration that she has been experiencing in trying to find a job. Listen to what she had to say yesterday.
Yes.
It's very difficult to find employment. The employers say that they're hiring, but when you show up, they'll, explain to you to go online and complete the application. You complete the application. I've even literally completed it and took it personally back to the employers and haven't heard anything.
Okay, and her sentiment was expressed just like the gentleman earlier who said the same thing. You're wondering, is anyone even looking at my resume? Are they looking at that application? So what can you do to kind of help your application or resume stand out?
Well, one thing that a lot of job seekers don't realize is when they apply for jobs that aren't exactly suited, then they're being screened out by computers before a human being even ever sees the resume. So applying for the right kind of jobs is really important.
So you're needing trigger words, is that what you're saying?
Keywords is important, and you find those keywords include things like job titles. If you're applying for a particular job title, that title needs to appear in your materials, even if you've never held that job before.
Okay, so let's take a look at what I guess you would consider kind of the old style resume, one that you need to get rid of, and then we're going to compare it to the new updated version. So let's take a look at old. This is what I guess most people are kind of familiar with, their name at the top, their address, the objective, what they're looking for in their career, etc. What's the matter with that?
Well, number one is that the objective statement is very dated. Today, it's more important to focus in on exactly what you have to offer the employer, not what it is you want to do. And here, the objective was showing a lot of dated words and useless words that weren't descriptive.
And is it a case of too many words too?
And not necessarily too many words, but just not words that are descriptive enough to make an impact.
Okay, so wait a minute, now this is the new one here?
Yes, the new resume you can see
highlights. That looks harder to read to me.
Well,
No?
it highlights the job seekers' online credentials and makes it easy to find more about them online with the LinkedIn and the Twitter and the Google Plus. Makes them look like they're ahead of the curve in terms of using new technology.
Being modern.
Yes.
Having that right at the top. Now let's talk about, experience, because sometimes we're hearing from a lot of people who may have been in an industry for many, many years, a few decades, and maybe in their 50s or now, or even their 40s, and they're trying to, find a job, but sometimes that experience becomes a detriment. Perhaps it even ages a potential applicant. Is there ever a case in which you want to eliminate some of that experience? Try to conceal how old you are, essentially?
Well, I don't know necessarily concealing how old you are, but definitely on a resume, you don't really need to show more than 10 years of experience because that's what's most relevant for the employer.
Okay, and that professional experience, this is the old resume. This is how you're saying
some
don't
old
spell
style
it out like
bullets,
this.
some, a lot of people have old style fonts. So you want to make sure that the resume not only is visually interesting, but also gives information that is useful
And how
for
is
the
this an
employer.
improvement?
So the difference here is that it includes specific figures, numbers, the job seeker's impact on the employer's organization, 17% increase in page views, increased profitability from 15 to 20 million, definitely shows the keywords such as what kind of programs they were using to accomplish those results.
All right. Miriam, Salpeter, thanks so much. I hope this is helpful to a lot of people who continue to look and express their frustration that the job market really is not finding, some real, fruit for a lot of people who are looking.
Having a positive attitude is a big part of it, and then using the tools that are available is really helpful.
All right, Miriam, thanks so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay.